I want to bring in Devlin Barrett, who is one of the reporters on the byline on the Washington Post reporting. Can you just talk about what you have learned?
Right. So we have learned that when the FBI conducted its search on August 8th, obviously there's been court documents describing a lot of classified material that was taken. We're told that one of the things found in the course of that search was a document that described a foreign government's military defenses, including its nuclear capabilities. And obviously that was a cause for some concern, although there's a lot of material in this tranche of stuff that they searched for and found that is a cause for concern.
The number of outrageous things, bombshell things we've been hearing coming from this search of Mar-a-Lago and the top secret documents that have been discovered and revealed slowly as we go through all these different levels of options and special masters and everything being appointed and adjudicated in court. The one thing we continue to see from Donald Trump in these document discoveries is that it gets more and more serious. Now, this one, at least, we've discovered that there are some nuclear information of a foreign countries that was also in Donald Trump's possession. We don't know whose it was, but let's get some more details from the Washington Post as they pointed all of this out. So this document described a foreign government's military defenses, including its nuclear capabilities. FBI agents did find that in their search. And according to people familiar with the matter, underscoring concerns among U.S. intelligence officials about classified material stashed in the Florida property. It was in this last batch of government secrets that people familiar with this matter said that the information about a foreign government's nuclear defense readiness was found. These people did not identify the foreign government in question, say where at Mar-a-Lago the document was found, or offer additional details about one of the Justice Department's most sensitive national security investigations. I'll say it again because people I don't think really see the degree of importance. One of the Justice Department's most sensitive national security investigations. It has nothing to do with partisanship nature of it, but if anybody was talking about other governments, nuclear secrets and their nuclear readiness, I don't care who it is that's got it. It's a big deal, but we could downplay it. More on this because some of those seized documents detail top secret U.S. operations so closely guarded that many senior national security officials are kept in the dark about it. Only the president, some members of his cabinet, or a near cabinet level official could authorize other government officials to know the details of these special access programs. And that's according to people familiar with this search. And they spoke on the condition of anonymity because this thing is continuing on and on and on. So again, Trump was talking about things being declassified at his whim. If he mentions the word declassified, that means these documents are. More details of how this makes no sense either. The subpoena, which was issued to Trump's custodian of records, then listed more than 24 subclassifications of documents, including the SFRD, which is an abbreviation for formerly restricted data, which was reserved for information that relates primarily to the military use of nuclear weapons. Despite the formerly in that title, in case you guys pointed that out, the term does not mean that the information is no longer classified. And it also doesn't help Trump's case that he won't stop talking about it. And nuclear. You guys thought you had nuclear. What about nuclear? Yes, he's still saying it. Here's his quote. Nuclear weapons issue is a hoax, just like Russia was a hoax. 2 impeachments were a hoax. The Mueller investigation was a hoax and much more. Some sleazy people involved is what he wrote, going on to suggest that the FBI agents might have planted evidence against him yet over and over again. But Fox News did have an expert on, at least someone who maybe has some background on this type of stuff. And he wasn't ready to just give Donald Trump a get out of jail free card the way it seems many people are. Let's watch what the Fox News was talking about.
So there would be an inconsistency to going after the former president in this case. And I'm just wondering, the president will always go back to the argument, I was the president, these documents were within my purview and right to have. Whether he declassified them or not, there's a growing argument there whether that was the case or would have changed anything. He had them when he shouldn't have had them. But the sheer volume of them doesn't make a difference either, the fact that there were thousands of them?
Yeah, Neil, I think that goes to where I believe President Trump is not helping himself with his public statements. I think, if you want a resolution of this without a prosecution, the best thing he could do right now is stop talking about it. I think, unfortunately, he sees it in terms of the possibility of making a 2024 run. He sees that this is a positive in terms of his political campaign, so he keeps harping on it. But I think by harping on it, he makes it more likely that he gets charged.
He makes it more likely that he gets charged by continually talking about it, says Andy McCarthy, former assistant U.S. attorney. Francesca, I feel like I'm reverting back to previous pessimism over this entire thing, because dudes playing golf, dudes shouting out on Truth Social, dudes still making statements and probably appearing on some shows every once in a while, the Newsmaxes of the world, to still say this type of stuff, and we're seeing all of this that he had in his possession. If it was at your house, if it was back there and the blue and purple lights behind you, you wouldn't be out golfing the next day.
Yes, no, these lights would never twinkle again, were it me or anyone else. And this is the question that the right has long answered for us, which is that, is anyone above the law? And their answer is yes. And Donald Trump has been above the law. And we go back to, on the campaign trail, him saying, I could go out and shoot someone on Fifth Avenue. They weren't joking. That was not hyperbole. He would get away with it because that is what a cult does. And so everything else is just in our hands. What do we do? And so you got this, special master, right? And we wonder whether or not that's going to be appointed. Apparently, the Trump team and the DOJ have to agree on who that person is, which is that's going to take forever. So I totally feel you on back to the pessimism in terms of the groundbreaking news that there was nuclear information about another country. I think that's something we already knew. I think a lot of us thought, I don't think it's the codes, which once again, I hope they get scrambled every few months. But it's definitely dirt on another country's nuclear arms and their whereabouts, which absolutely can be sold to the highest bidder. And man, it's been over a year, probably has been sold to the highest bidder.
That's the next question. That's what I was wondering, because we keep talking about what was Donald Trump doing with those documents? What could he have done with those documents? Do we think, not for speculation, do we think that he was holding those documents and waiting for someone to come confiscate them before he did something with them, or before he threatened to use them in a way that would benefit him, or that would push someone else to do something of his bidding? Yeah. Or even at this point, if they do come to him and they're listen, we're investigating you and we're going to talk to you about what was going on, he'd be I have secrets. You think you might want to back off me before I sell them? Again, I'm not in any kind of top secret stuff.
I've got info on Emmanuel Macron's sex life. Don't come any closer. They're
exactly.
Everybody knows.
Luckily, that's probably his thought process, and he didn't retain any of the actual important information. He just kept all the salacious stuff like that.